What's good, y'all? Brandon B. Just wanted to hop on a quick live real quick. Just wanted to do a quick reaction video to this really interesting video I came across. And it really brought up this conversation that I wanted to have just about, evolving past your comfort zones. And uh, I think sometimes we all deal in life with people who sometimes aren't really accepting of like where we're moving in life. And sometimes you have to be uh, almost desensitized to what others are saying or doing when you're on your path towards, your elevation. And whatever, industry or career or whatever that may be, I think we're all seeking a level of elevation in our lives. And I think sometimes when you are going in that path, there will be people around you who aren't necessarily looking for those same things, and so of course, as we grow and as we evolve and as we go to like different levels and different heights, sometimes we're not going to always have those who we thought would be there with us. And unfortunately, in life, sometimes when you are on a path, sometimes it's just you alone to have to kind of chart that path first and kind of show others, kind of the way, because sometimes people just don't really understand. And so I was looking at this video by this very, conscious young lady. I think she goes by the name It's Geneva. She's on TikTok under It's Geneva. So I want to make sure that she gets the credit for this amazing video that she made. And I just wanted to kind of talk about this because it definitely struck a nerve inside of me and it made me feel some type of way. And I felt like it was something that you guys needed to see as well. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this up on the screen, let her do her thing, and then I'll do like a quick reaction to it. So let's go.
Have you ever wondered why the people closest to you don't support you when you start something new, like launching a business, switching careers, or even just like chasing your dreams? It's easy to say they're jealous. It's easy to say that they're haters, but more often than not, it's deeper than that. It's
Right. So she makes a very good point right out the gate, is that sometimes it is deeper than just them, being jealous of you. And that's so true. Is like, I think sometimes, in life, we are all kind of looking at ourselves, especially on social media, in comparison to one another. And sometimes people may see you elevating, and it may not just be something that, is a jealous, type of response, or something that would come from like them being upset with you or anything like that. It could be something much deeper. And so I think she's kind of like playing on this in a way where she wants to kind of set the stage for you guys. So let's let her continue on this.
psychological, especially if you come from the same background, the same struggle, the same limitations. That's not just inspiring to people, that can be very triggering.
All right. It's a saying that we all get the same 24 hours in a day, right? And so I think sometimes when we're, going about our days and we're going about our lives, but some people are being more productive with their time and they're doing a little bit more than the normal person would do in their 24 hours. Sometimes that can be a bit intimidating to those who feel like they're not doing enough, right? And so sometimes when you are on that path, when you're creative or you're making something, or you're, on your career path, or you're locked in on whatever it may be, maybe you're in the gym, whatever that may be, right? Sometimes I think when people see that, they're not necessarily too privy about how these things go. But I think it's important to, stay locked in and stay on your journey, because sometimes, people can, drive you off of that. And I think it's important to stay on that path, because, you want to chase your dreams, or you want to make, your thing happen, whatever that may be. Right. So being conscious of, kind of those steps in that marathon, right? Just pushing through and keeping going is number one. And so I think that part is really what resonates with me from what she's already saying, right? So let's continue.
Because now you're a mirror and you reflect back what they could have done had they made different choices. And that's uncomfortable for most people. You become a reminder of the version of themselves that they abandoned, the version that wanted more but didn't feel brave enough to go after it.
All right. That's so true. It's like a lot of people, they want to sometimes do something or sometimes accomplish something, and for whatever circumstance they may be going through, they made excuses to not chase their dreams or to not, complete that goal that they had set out for themselves. And sometimes when they see others doing that, and like you said, like I said earlier, just kind of coming from um just like the same exact background, the same exact upbringing, the same, quote unquote, like excuses, right? Well, apparently sometimes when you're on your path and you're doing what you have to do, that can as well, be intimidating to those who aren't really on their path and doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. So I think when you look at that from like a real perspective, it can be, a little intimidating because you're on your goals, you're moving towards your directional path, but at the same time, maybe, it's not aligned with kind of what they're doing or where they're going. So let's continue here.
That didn't feel supported, that didn't believe that they were worthy. And instead of dealing with it directly, people cope in subtle ways. This is where cognitive dissonance comes in. That's the internal conflict someone feels when their current reality is challenged by a new truth. Maybe they've been telling themselves for years that people like you or people from your environment don't make it, that success is not realistic, that visibility is for other people, not for you, not for.
There you go. That's a big one. Is that sometimes, people want what you want, but they don't want it for you, if that makes sense. Right? Sometimes people want what they want, but they don't want that for you. And that's so true. It's like sometimes I think we get into our own, lives and our own journeys, and sometimes we don't consider, what other people are thinking. And then once we're kind of on that journey, it kind of comes out where those people are just a little bit more intimidated or a little bit more lost on their journey. So you being on yours is a mirror to them, what all the things of what they could have done, and who they could have become. And I've dealt with that a lot, maybe it's friends, maybe it's family, where they see a lot of themselves in you, but you made the right choices and they didn't. And so you're able to live a certain lifestyle and you're able to do a few things that they couldn't in the past. And so sometimes that can be, I don't know, it can be a little interesting, right? Because there's always something to be said about chasing your dreams and chasing your goals, but sometimes it's also not considered about the people who are watching you chase your dreams and accomplish your goals. So there can always be a little bit of back and forth with that, right? Where people are having those internal conflicts within themselves, you know what I'm saying? And you can't get really too much caught up in that, because the goal is to grow for yourself and to better yourself and take yourself to the next level. And if those people are there, they'll be there with you. But if not, sometimes it just is what it is in life, and we have to keep moving forward. So let's continue.
For them. And now you're proof that these beliefs were not facts. They're just their fears. And now they got to either face that or reject you. So instead of clapping for you, they fall silent. Instead of supporting you, they become distant. Or worse, they become what many people call monitoring spirits. They watch everything you post, every move you make, never like, never engage, never share. And no, this does not mean that everyone who watches you and who doesn't engage is secretly hating. Okay, some people just consume content passively. That's normal. But when it's someone close to you, someone who used to show love, someone who used to engage, who used to be vocal, and now they're silent while still watching, that is not random. That's avoidance.
All right. She makes a great point there where she's talking about just basically kind of the new wave of how people, I guess, follow one another. And it comes into kind of play where it also becomes a little bit of like a monitoring, like she said, they become monitoring spirits where they're around, right? They're watching, they're looking at all your content, but they're not liking it, they're not reacting to it, they're not giving you any feedback. And I was having some conversations with a few friends who are creatives. One of my cousins, she's a really, really talented photographer. She's on the come up right now in the up north California scene, and she was just talking about how people just watch, they'll consume her content, and they'll never really respond. They're just kind of monitoring spirits, and so I feel like as creatives, it's not that we necessarily need the validation, but feedback is very important in our spaces to be able to know kind of where we're going, where we're at, and kind of the direction that we want to eventually go. And so sometimes, we are looking for that feedback from, whoever it may be, or, whoever is close to us to let us know, hey, man, I really dug what you were doing. That looked really cool. I love that video that you made. I love, those clothing that you designed, or, I love the fact that you got a promotion at your job, just that camaraderie and that validation really does help a lot for people who are out there chasing their dreams, going for the gold, really trying to be the best at what they do, so I want you guys all to heed this and just try not to be monitoring spirits, and try to really lock into what people are doing. Give your feedback, give them support. If somebody's got something going, let them know that it's dope. It's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't diminish your light at all to go and give somebody else love. It should be a genuine thing. And we all should be, cognitive and conscious of ourselves to go out here and make it happen one way or another. You know what I'm saying? And so I was watching this video, and it really just resonated with me, because I've been through a lot of this, like I said, with a lot of different friends and family and people that I've come across, associates throughout, my work career and my, professional career and my creative career. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is sometimes, but it can be draining, So let's continue.
And that's discomfort showing up as distance. Because deep down, it's not just that they don't like what you do, it's that they don't like what it brings up in them. When people come from the same starting point as you, your growth makes it harder for them to hide behind excuses. It exposes the fact that they had the same tools, the same environment, maybe even more resources than you had, and they still chose comfort. They still chose fear. They still chose to shrink themselves and play small. Not everyone is going to applaud your evolution, especially when your evolution highlights their stagnation. But your path is not meant to be validated by people who are still avoiding their own growth.
She said something right there. She said that right there. Your journey should not be dictated by someone else's lack of growth. And that's a fact, because at the end of the day, our goal is to better ourselves and to grow and to become the best versions of ourselves that we can be. And so when you are looking at things like that, like, you can't be worried about somebody else's growth, because trust me, like, they're not worried about yours. We are only responsible for our own growth as people, as professionals, in your career, in your creative spaces, wherever that may be. You are the one who is responsible for your own growth. So your goal should always be to focus consciously on your own growth, how you're going to get there, and the path that you have to take first before you can help anyone else. Because at the end of the day, no one's going to help you except yourself, and you have to keep pushing that. You can't let that go. You have to make sure, as a person, who's chasing dreams and chasing goals, that you're accomplishing your goals and you're accomplishing your dreams. It don't stop just, when the day starts. Like, starts even in your sleep.
The support you're looking for may not come from the people that you started with, but it will come. Your audience, your tribe, your aligned connections, they'll find you. And when they do, it'll make sense why the people closest to you had to fall away. Now,
I always have this saying where it's, sometimes God removes people from your life to make room for new ones to come in. And I think that's a big part of this, is like, sometimes on your journey, you're going to be growing, and you're going to be, making connections, and you're going to be meeting new people. And those old friends that you used to hang out with, that you thought were going to be there during the journey, they eventually kind of fizzle out and fall by the wayside. And so as people who are, productive human beings pushing forward, trying to make something happen, your goal should always be to continue to grow and become the best version of yourself that you could become. And no one is responsible for that other than you. And so make sure that you're being conscious of how you're moving, the goals that you want to set, the ideas in your mind that you want to accomplish, and do not let anyone stop you. Don't let anyone get in your way, not even you. Because always remember, it's you versus you out here. Nobody else is going to be able to make it happen but you. So you make sure to stay focused, stay conscious, lock in, and don't allow yourself to be distracted by those who aren't, doing what they're supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, that's on them. It's not on you, brother. You got to make sure, or sister, whoever out there is listening to this.
Because they were bad people, but because they weren't ready to face themselves. And your light made it impossible not to. If you're not getting the support that you expected, don't let it get to you, okay? Some people are fighting internal battles that have absolutely nothing to do with you. You're just a trigger. You're not the cause. A secure, confident person has no problem showing love to someone who's rising, okay? But not everyone is secure. Not everyone is healed. Not everyone is capable. And that's not your responsibility to fix or to shrink yourself for. So keep going, keep showing up, keep being proud of what you're building. The right people will never be threatened by your growth. They'll celebrate it. Let them find you, okay?
All right. That was a message right there for y'all to go ahead and sit with. But yeah, that's real. The people that you're looking for, the support that you're looking for, it'll come. The goals, everything that you set out to do, it will happen. You just got to stay focused. You got to stay locked in. You got to make sure that you're doing what you got to do to make these things happen. Because at the end of the day, it's all going to happen in due time. You just got to stay focused. You got to keep pushing. You got to make it happen. And don't let anyone get in the way of your dreams. Fight for them like you fight for your life. Because at the end of the day, you only get one life. And we only get one life on this planet. And you got to make sure that you're making the most of it, because it goes fast. And if you're not, locked in onto what you want to do with your life and evolving past your comfort zones and being able to push yourself to that next level, you'll live with a lifetime of regret. So go out there and make yourself uncomfortable. Don't be scared of what's the unknown. Push yourself to grow, to attack the life that you want. Because at the end of the day, it's out there if you want to go get it. Don't let anyone say that anything is impossible, because it is. We're all living proof that one of us, all of us, we're all dealing with things. We're all going through things. But the goal is to keep pushing through to be the best versions of ourselves and to also have a beautiful life, man. This is it. We won't get another one after this. You know what I'm saying? Some people believe that there is a heaven. I believe that 100%. But we also can have our heaven right here on earth too. So shout out to everybody who's, been listening and like supporting us as we grow. We're doing what we can, to make this platform something great. And so I'm going to keep posting every single day until I get to the goal that I'm looking for, because I'm on my journey right now and I'm going to get that shit. So salute to all y'all, you know what I mean? With much love and respect, because at the end of the day, we gonna chase our dreams every single time. Peace.